The 2030 agenda is set in motion. So guys, there's been talk about the 2030 agenda for years now. I know a lot of you were up on it probably 10, 20 years ago. Some of you, or a lot of you, brought it to my attention within the last couple of years. So of course, being a prepper channel, and being that we don't want to be locked under anybody's rule and laws, I follow this a little more, and we follow this a lot closely than other people do. That being said, there was something very, I guess, sneaky that happened in the UN where they snuck in a pact called the Pact for the Future. So this pact was snuck in under something called a silence procedure, where they introduce it, and if nobody, and they introduced it within 72 hours of the pact actually going through, and they did it in such a way that nobody actually got to read it, and it passed. So now this pact, if you will, is being adopted by 193 nations. Now, does that mean that every nation's going to follow it to a T? Probably not, especially after you read a lot of the pact. And a lot of the pact, guys, sounds like something very, very dangerous, because for this to work, for this pact, this document to actually work, that means something catastrophic on a grand scale globally has to happen to get everybody to fall in line. Or at the very least, something happened in the major first world nations like United States, UK, Russia, China. Those nations, something has to happen to one of us for us to fall in line for this pact. Now, there's a lot to uncover in this pact. I did a longer version on YouTube, my live stream last Tuesday, or this past Tuesday. I did a live stream on that, and I talked about the different sections. Now, in this whole gist of it, they keep repeating they want this done by 2030. In each section, they want everything done by 2030. That is 5 years from now, for the most part. 5 years and 2 months, right? So with 5 years, guys, and 2 months, to have all of these things happen that are in the pact is virtually impossible unless something catastrophic happens. Now, a lot of the things they had in there that didn't make sense was world peace within 5 years, end of hunger globally in 5 years. They want to get rid of nuclear weapons in 5 years, and they want to get rid of, if I'm not mistaken, weapons as a whole in 5 years. Globally, they want to get rid of this stuff. They want to get rid of disease. They want to make sure that women equality and little girls, I don't know why they put little girls instead of just females, but they said women and little girls have equality around the world, equally around the world in 5 years. So a lot of these things didn't make sense, because I'm like, there's no way you can get peace, get rid of nuclear weapons, and have equality in 5 years. And they're tackling a lot. Again, if you look at the document, you can tell, guys, that what they're looking at, it just doesn't make any sense to get all of this. I mean, there's a lot of shit they want done in 5 years. And that is virtually impossible. I mean, like, you have to, first of all, the UN, for them to do that, the UN has to expand their power even more, which I don't see a lot of countries giving that expansion of power to the UN. I mean, they have to expand really big. They have to come up with multiple departments, multiple units to make this happen. Now, again, for them to do that, for them, and they also talked about making sure people were fed with certain, not a certain diet, but with correct diets, whatever correct diets mean. And again, all in 5 years. So they want to handle this problem, which makes no sense. I only see something bad coming out of this. I don't see anything good. I see total control and lockdown just based on what they were saying in the document. And it's just not reasonable. Now, if this document said, hey, we want to do all these things in the next 20, 30 years, I'd be like, that's a little more reasonable. Because you have to focus on certain subjects and give it your all, and then hopefully it resolves itself, or you resolve it within the next couple of years. To do it in 5 years and to do it with over 100 different problems, it's not going to work. So again, for it to work, And the only way for it to work, something catastrophic has to happen. Which leads me into the bigger problem. The new directive that the DOD came down with just earlier this month or late last month, they came down with a directive allowing armed forces to use lethal force on American citizens. Now that was done late last month to early this month. And that DOD directive is this one here. And that, guys, was a giant red flag for everybody who's following the shift in power in the world, rather, not the United States, but the world. So now we're watching this big shift go down. We're watching the United States politicians, they want to plan for a mass casualty event. And in that event that they are planning for, they want to be able to replace certain political, let's say, congressmen and Senate, vice presidents and presidents in less than 3 months. As it currently stands right now, it takes 3 months for anybody in the political realm to be switched out or replaced. They want to get it done within a week or two. So they came out with this back in, I think, June or July. They started talking about a mass casualty incident and how to replace members of Congress and Senate. So with that, guys, that was another red flag. So that hit first, then the lethal force used on American citizens next, and then the Pact of the Future, which was snuck in by the UN. So again, guys, all of this is red flaggy, which means something is undoubtedly headed our way. Something that, again, guys, like I said before, is going to scare the shit out of everybody around the world, if not Americans alone. Because whatever's coming is got to be bad if they have a 5-year plan for all of this. If Congress is looking to get replaced or replace themselves within a couple of weeks instead of 3 to 4 months. If they're allowing the U.S. military to now use lethal force on American citizens, something is undoubtedly headed this way. And all we can do is get ready and make sure we are ready to respond. Because all of this stuff is very dangerous. Now, if Kamala Harris gets into office, which I think she will, the attack on the Second Amendment is going to go into overtime. They are going to try their best to take our firearms away from us, preparing the nation for what's going to happen next, which is probably a takeover of some kind. I don't know. But anyway, trying to take firearms from American citizens is going to lead into its own battle, if you will, its own set of problems. So there's that good sign right there. But other than that, guys, something bad is definitely headed this way, and we need to be ready for whatever it might be. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.